meditacionesdiarias.com.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Lorena Meyer reading to you from Minnesota in the U.S. from our adult devotional titled, I Am With You, Bible Promises for a Life of Full Assurance. Today's date is August 20th, 2023, and our title is, He Gives More Grace. In James 4 verse 6 it says, But He gives more grace. Therefore He says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. According to renowned Christian author Warren Wiersbe, the believer has three enemies: the world, the flesh, and the devil. In James 4, we find that three of them showing off their weapons and marksmanship, intimidating us with their power. They present themselves as invincible adversaries that mock our weakness. They conspire to extend their ruthless control. They dominate us and make us envious, covetous, forcing us to live only to please our most shameful desires, to satisfy appetites that leave our souls feeling empty. They tie us with chains that draw us away from God and make it greatly difficult to interact with Him. But just as the outlook seems irreversible, the apostle proclaims, but He gives more grace. The contrast could not be more striking. The world, flesh, and Satan give us adultery, covetousness, selfishness, murder, destruction, but our loving Lord gives us more grace. In other words, no matter how strongly the chains of the world, the flesh, and the devil have tied us down, God's grace will always be greater than the sins we have committed due to the temptations of these three enemies. The greater grace can break off our friendship with evil and make us inseparable friends of good. Paul expressed the same truth when he said, Where sin abounded, grace abounded much more. God's work will always exceed Satan's power. I like how Charles Spurgeon comments on that change in situation. Note that contrast. Note it always. Observe how weak we are, how strong He is, how proud we are, how condescending He is, how erring we are, and how infallible He is, how changing we are, and how immutable He is, how provoking we are, and how forgiving He is. Observe how in us there is only ill, and how in Him there is only good. Yet by our ill draws His goodness forth, and He still blesses. Oh, what a rich contrast. Some time ago I met a young man who decided to walk in the paths of the world, the flesh, and sin. What did he encounter? Pain, tragedy, suffering, until one day he understood there is an abundant grace in Christ to cover all his sins and cleanse his life of wickedness. That day his heart understood that God's grace will always be greater. Does your heart already know that? Thank you so much for joining us today and listening in, and I wish you a blessed day.
Thank you for joining us. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at m.youtube.com/c/Meditaciones Diarias and to follow us on our social media in Instagram at www.instagram.com/meditacionesdiarias7. May God bless you and your family.